Piccadilly Circus.
It's 1:57 p.m. and I'm off on another budget travel adventure from London. And with that green light, welcome to Carl's Travel Channel, where every journey costs less than £200. Please sit back, buckle up and enjoy the ride. And always remember, the nearest exit may be behind you. As we leave the city, we pass by some famous department stores, such as here at Fortnum and Mason. The contactless fare for our first ride of the day, only £1.75. We continue driving up along Piccadilly. And passing, of course, the famous Ritz Hotel off to the left. This iconic luxury London hotel was opened in 1906 by Caesar Ritz, 118 years ago. Passing one of the many open-top sightseeing buses pulling in to Green Park Station. I could easily catch the tube from here to Victoria, but well, what would be the fun in that? Sadly, the bus terminated not long after, so I decided to walk the rest of the way from here to Victoria Station. On the left here, I'm passing the Bomber Command Memorial. Despite having a bus to catch, having never been inside, I decided to come to investigate. I assumed this was very old. However, I was quite surprised, looking up online. It was built in only 2012, and it's to honour the 55,573 aircrew lost during the Second World War. A quick stop to pay tribute, and then continue my journey. I next pass the Commonwealth Memorial Gates, and then of course the famous Wellington Arch. Traffic is certainly mad around here. I make it to London Victoria Station with its grand Victorian facade, but alas, we're not catching a train, so I cannot go in here. Instead I walk up to Victoria Coach Station with its elaborate digital departure board. And within no time at all, I was boarding my coach, the NX 030, to Fareham. Once on board, I was excited to try out for the first time the YouTuber's favourite, seat 2A. It's only £2.50 to reserve this seat, which, for all the extra legroom you can see, is worth every penny. And so, here we go.
Where you can also sign up to My Account and won't pay booking fees. It's the hassle-free way to manage your bookings with us.
After the long National Express safety announcements had finished, the coach fare for today's journey was only £4, plus the £2.50 seat reservation fee. A real bargain. The coach then heads out across Chelsea Bridge, and I enjoy the riverside views. Sadly, other than its chimneys, you cannot quite see Battersea Power Station here, as it's been blocked by these new developments. We pass by the expensive Chelsea Bridge Wharf apartments. The coach made one more stop in Wandsworth to pick up a few more passengers, and during this time and heavy traffic, we accrued a delay of around 20 minutes. I like the classic London suburban metro look here. After what felt like forever traversing the streets of southwest London, we make it out onto the M3 motorway. There is what appears to be a huge construction project here, rebuilding the M3's junctions. Luckily, in this direction, it did not affect our journey. The scale of the project, however, is large and goes on for a few miles. We then began to arrive into our second en route stop, the University of Surrey at Guildford. Around 40 or 50% of people on the coach alighted here. The stop, whilst obviously being useful for students travelling from London, is also very handy to see the amazing Guildford Cathedral, which sadly was not visible from the coach. A quick and easy stopover, and then once again we were headed out back to the motorway. And then, in what seemed like no time at all, the sea was visible, the shores of the south coast and its marshes. We passed the first bridge causeway to Portsea Island. Many people don't realise that Portsmouth is actually on an island, connected by only 6 bridges to the mainland. I looked up some random facts about Portsea Island, and the one that came to mind the most was that the Danish invaded in the year 979 AD. For almost 1,000 years, it's been an area of rich maritime heritage. We would then be leaving the M27 motorway here on the second causeway into Portsmouth. Here the coach joins the M275 into town. After a short journey through a suburb, the port finally came into view. Excitement was once again building up for today's destination. My original plan was to alight from this coach at the Portsmouth city centre stop. However, due to the delay, I decided it was safer to alight from the coach here at the port. And here we are, we've made it to Portsmouth International Port. A nice anchor here. I wonder which ship this came from. Once checked in, which was easy, I had a drink and a coffee, and I was told, very sternly in advance, that I was not permitted to take it from the confines of these fences. There is also a viewing terrace up here, with a not so great view over the port. However, in the far distance, I think I can just make out my ship for the night coming into view. And after a 1.5 hour wait and boarding the foot passengers bus, we were driving on board. It's always interesting seeing the intricacies of a ferry's car deck. As soon as I boarded, I headed straight for my cabin to drop off the bag. The bed and temperature in the room both felt very comfortable. A small desk is provided with one power socket. In European style, you must bring a UK adapter. The bathroom was big enough and functional. However, I had to clean the toilet. I was not expecting this, but alas, I won't show it on the video. The shower was also perfect, easy enough to use and powerful the next morning. So let's check the deck plans and then head upstairs and orientate myself about the ship. And right on cue, the car alarms start to go off. Let's climb up the rather steep stairs, which you do not find on today's ships, and head to Deck 9, where we can head right outside. The door at the back of Deck 9 opens out onto the helipad. I wonder which ship that is in front. Well, we will find out a little later. And a view over the stern, looking down at the balcony of the bar on Deck 8. Some type of navy vessel is visible here, over in the distance. I then get my first view at one of Brittany Ferries' new E-Flexer ferries, which will sadly replace the one we are standing on now. The MV St Malo entered service in only 2023 last year. But for now, rather than looking forward to the future, let's reminisce with the past and explore more of today's ship. Passing the games room on Deck 9, we will have a little exploring here later on.
Your attention, please. For security reasons, we ask you not to leave your luggage unattended. Thank you for your cooperation. Atención, por favor.
And in here is the Deck 9 Brittany Ferries Club Lounge. But again, we'll return to that later for a better look. This is one of the seating areas for passengers who do not wish to purchase a cabin, rather them than me staying in here overnight. And on the left here are the crew areas, which I won't point my camera through the window to disturb them. On most modern ships, the crew areas are not visible at all. We've almost made it down to the bridge, so let's go up here and explore the upper deck. And welcome aboard the MV Bretagne. She entered service in 1989 and is the grand old dame of the Brittany Ferries fleet. Sadly, however, after 35 years of service, in only 2 weeks after this video is made, she will be retired on the 3rd of November 2024. The funnel beautifully illuminated in the night. I decide to go back downstairs into the warm before the ship sets sail and find this little seating area opposite the duty-free and gift shops. I then take my first look at the bar on Deck 8, where they have live entertainment later on. But I suddenly realise we've already started moving, so I run back upstairs. It was certainly very foggy out here tonight. And we leave the St Malo behind for another trip. Coming into view just now, I was very lucky to see the RRS Sir David Attenborough. This is operated by the British Antarctic Survey and was launched in only 2018. It was the subject of the famous naming competition, where the name Boaty McBoatface won the poll. The name, however, was deemed to be inappropriate, and instead it was named as Sir David Attenborough. However, the name was kept, and one of the remote-controlled submersibles on the boat is still called Boaty McBoatface in honour. I was hoping to see Boaty on the side of the ship here, However, I don't think it is one of these. Maybe you know. Please let me know in the comments. There certainly are a lot of vessels attached to the side of the boat. Behind the Sir David Attenborough, registered in Stanley, the Falkland Islands, is one of the Navy's newer stealth-type destroyer ships. She looks formidable in the darkness. Anyhow, we return to the subject of this video, my last voyage, on the old lady, the MV Bretagne. Then, appearing through the fog, came the Royal Navy's largest ship, the HMS Queen Elizabeth. She looked imposing and formidable in the fog. In the distance here is the subject maybe of a video for another day, the Portsmouth Historic Dockyard and the HMS Warrior. And of course, just about visible, Portsmouth's iconic Spinnaker Tower. In front of the tower is the berthing place of the ferries to the Isle of Wight at Portsmouth and Southsea. I'm sure that will be the subject also of another video. It certainly was difficult to get a clear view of the tower tonight. The tower is an immense 560 foot tall and was opened in 2005. We passed some of the pubs and restaurants down on the quayside. I will have to check these out one day. You could sit back at home and watch the lights of Portsmouth and the UK dwindle into the distance. It's certainly windy out here. And with that, we leave the lights of the mainland UK behind. You could just about see the blue glow of the Spinnaker Tower trying to pierce its way through the fog. Let's head back down inside, into the warm. Here are some of Bretagne's beautiful artworks. I hope they are taken and preserved for the new ship St Malo. We then passed by the ship's coffee shop, Le Café. I must admit, it was only open for 1 or 2 hours on my entire 2-day experience on board. The coffee shop was on deck 8, but we are going further down. And the classic 1989 style entrance atrium to the ship. This is on deck 7, looking down to deck 6. I was hungry now, so it was time to try out the food in the self-service restaurant. I don't usually go for fish and chips, however I thought being at sea, it was very appropriate. It was nice, although maybe slightly on the dry side. The price was fairly reasonable, with a dessert and a beer was €20. A view around the seating area in the self-service restaurant. Before heading up to the ship's bar to sample some drinks and entertainment, I thought I would head back to my cabin to recharge my battery quickly. I love the red carpets and narrow corridors and stairs. You don't really see these as much on modern ships today. My cabin had a handy mini cruise sticker on the door. This is to denote that I could leave my bags in there, instead of lugging them around St Malo the next day. Before entering the bar, up on deck 9, I decided to go inside to film the adjacent games room, so you could see what it was like. And one last blast of air on the stern of the ship, looking back towards the fading lights of the UK. And also the promised view inside the club lounge, which, to be honest, did not look very impressive. Despite the noise, the sea and wind tonight were very calm, and it was fairly warm outside. It was then time to sample the ship's entertainment and this rather bizarre magic show.
That's a third, that's a fourth. If you get the idea, every time you turn it, new configuration is made.
I can't say the entertainment was the best, but it was good enough for a free show. Here is a look around the duty-free and gift shop. Very quiet in the middle of the night before returning to my cabin to retire. And another quick view to show the deck plan of this area of the ship. And with that, good morning from Bretagne. It's breakfast time. The breakfast was a very decent sized plate, as you can see. And the price was only €11, including a coffee. I thought this was great value for money. The same self-service restaurant as last night. Due to the thick fog and eating breakfast, by the time I had to go outside, we had already docked in St Malo, and here was the Condor Voyager, berthed behind. The HSC high-speed Condor Voyager is an INCAT vessel, INCAT 57. She was built in the year 2000 and originally used to operate all the way over in New Zealand. Now she operates with Condor from Jersey to St Malo. I would definitely have to travel on her on a future trip. A quick listen to the many announcements. One final view of the ghostly funnel in the fog before heading downstairs to alight the ship. Waiting to leave, I saw these nice information boards on the Bretagne and also the new ship, the St Malo, which will take over the route in March 2025. St Malo is a hybrid E-flexor ship. And another board had an overview of the ship's entertainment programme. This really did make it feel like a mini cruise. And another of Bretagne's many nice artworks. And with that, we're off, and alighting down the gangway. After a speedy journey through passport control, I was out of the terminal and walking up to the centre of St Malo. It's only about a 10-minute walk to the old town. It was certainly very foggy here. The cranes of the port barely visible in the mist. I made it to the centre of St Malo and the St Vincent Gate. Here are the walls and ramparts of the medieval walled town. Let's go through the St Vincent Gate and see what's inside. The gate itself was constructed in 1710, just a few years ago. Well, it's certainly very quiet through here, but then it is early morning. A large selection of tourist restaurants is available in this area. Presumably they open in the evening. One thing I would point out here, being a historic listed site, is that none of the places have charging plugs or outlets available, so make sure you're well charged in advance. This would catch me out later on. Actually embedded into the fortifications and ramparts is the town hall, or Hotel de Ville in French. And gosh, some builders are making a loud noise. Just beyond here is the main plage, or beach, and the Fort National out on the headland. Like on the ship, it's a very calm day at sea. Most of St Malo's larger hotels are further up here along the beach. And to the right here is the large casino Barriere. Anyhow, we're back where we started, at the Tourist Information Centre, as it's from here we need to catch our coach. This is located at the Esplanade, St Vincent. In the meantime, let's go and check out this ancient ship, the Etoile du Roi. It was built all the way back in 1996. Yes, you did hear that right, it's a replica. It was actually originally called the Grand Turk and was built for a UK ITV series called Hornblower. Sadly, I don't think she sails anymore. If you know, and also know how it ended up here, please let me know in the comment. I then returned to the nearby bus stop to try and verify where my bus was departing from, but alas, this only mentions local services and no mention of Keolis. Still, as it says, you can catch a lot of local buses from here. Let's just hope it arrives. This should be the departure point. Ah, and right on cue, there she is. The bus pulled in at 9 AM, 15 minutes before the scheduled departure time of 9:15. Let's get on quick, as there's no seat reservations on board. I made it on nice and easy, scanning my e-ticket, and there are tray tables provided at every seat, and USB charging is available. However, don't forget your cable like I did. And so, here we go. The ticket for today's journey was booked on the Keolis Armour website and was €26 return, or it's also €16 if you prefer one way. Not super cheap, but also not expensive. I have made a full ride video of the whole coach journey, with no audio commentary. If that's something you prefer, then please see the link on the screen, or in the bio. We leave the historic centre of St Malo behind and head towards the coach's only other stop, at the Gare St Malo, to connect with SNCF trains. The fog has certainly cleared since earlier on over the marina. This area of St Malo looks like a classic French suburban town. After the journey through the suburbs, we make it to the town centre and the Gare St Malo. This is where you will find all the modern shops, takeaway chains and many of the larger hotels. Just a quick stop here to pick up a few more passengers. From here, it's now non-stop to Mont St Michel. And off we go again. And after around an hour, we make it to our final destination, Mont St Michel. This is somewhere I've always wanted to visit, so I'm very excited. There is a very large coach parking lot here, which presumably in summer gets very busy. However, today there was only around 3 or 4 coaches. For reference, this video was taken in October. And we arrive, and here is the bus stop at Mont St Michel. Another view to show both the pick-up and drop-off location of the Keolis onboard coach at Mont St Michel. From here, it's only a short walk back down the road you just came in on to the free shuttle bus. However, after seeing the size of the queues, even off-season, I decided against the idea and it best to walk. The first thing I passed on the way was the Tourist Information Centre, which was closed when I arrived and when I departed. I'm not sure when it's ever open. Lots of maps are provided anyhow to orientate yourself with the local area. There are also many hotels on this site and a few restaurants. And building up the excitement, the incredible Mont St Michel first comes into view. Flanking the horizon, it really is an incredible and unusual sight. It certainly felt like a long walk down here, around half an hour. However, it was good exercise, and at least it was all flat. After seeing a car pass, it's worth noting that you are not permitted to drive down here should you drive to Mont St Michel. You must park in the same area as the coaches, and then take the free shuttle bus or walk. One of the free buses passes us by. There is not enough room for them to turn around at the end, so they have a driver's cab on both ends. A local resident came to join me on the fence, which, rather funnily, kept hopping along as I approached. I think it was a chaffinch, but if you let me know in the comments. It was certainly a curious bird. Some more residents here, some local sheep or lambs. I was quite surprised to see them this far down in the marsh and boggy land. Besides now approaching Mont St Michel itself, just coming into view is one of its most distinctive features: its mysterious tidal connection to the mainland. The tides go up and down by as much as 14 foot. People used to take their life in their hands to cross the perilous sands here until the Causeway Bridge was constructed in 2013. The new bridge we are standing on now makes access to the island safe and open 24 hours a day. And wow, what an incredible view! Mont St Michel, Normandy, which dates back to the 8th century. But be careful of those perilous quicksands below. They have taken in many a tourist. At this spot is also the final drop-off location of the free shuttle bus from the car park. From here, both walkers and bus passengers go the same way. Now, let's mount the Mont. Welcome to Mont St Michel, an abbey, monastery and UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1979. The abbey, however, has stood here for over 1,000 years. Over 3 million tourists visit here every year. Let's go inside and see what we can find. A small medieval street full of shops, bars and restaurants winds its way up to the top of the island. I stop at a local bar where I'm also joined by some more birds. Again, I think these are chaffinches. But there are no mod cons here, so make sure you bring enough phone charge with you. Gosh, I was not expecting this kind of noise in a monastery. From here upwards, you need to pay to go in the abbey. However, I decided not to do that today, and just to walk around the sections with public access, like this off to the left here. There are more than enough things to see and do, and atmosphere to soak in over a few hours. Looking back down over the tidal causeway, it really is quite incredible. Another local resident here, complete with its own banana skin. I'm not sure what type of bird this one is. I wonder if it enjoyed the banana. I found this fascinating. It was like a zip wire for rubbish to take it down from the top of the abbey. A very picturesque seaside scene. On the way up, we stopped to look at St Pierre's cemetery. There looks to be a war memorial here also. Behind some of these doorways are actually private dwellings, as there are quite a few people live and work on the island. If you don't like steep stairs, this is certainly not a place to come. And then back down again, descending down the ramparts of the island for the best view. And finally, before bidding farewell, the total costings for this trip are shown on the screen now. It really was exceptionally good value for money. Looking out over the English Channel, en la Manche, please join me for part 2 of this video when we make the journey home. And with that, thank you for watching Carl's Travel Channel. Please like, subscribe, and come along for the next ride.